Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shivaya. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shivaya. Holiness is falling in love with your own self. This is true devotion. This is love. God is this love. When this love has no intent and goes nowhere but to itself, it will reveal itself to you. Whatever form you desire, manifest or unmanifest. God is this love. God is this love. God is this love. This love is God. This love is grace. This love is grace. When you are called by this love, rest inside your heart. For this love is pure and true. It is you, just God is this love. God is this love. God is this love. This love is all. This love is you. This love is true. This love is great. This love is great. This love is God. This love is God. Arunachala Shiva, 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 Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Your heart is the light of this world. It needs to just fully be seen. Bathe in the river of your being. You need not to be anything. Peace and love is your fragrance, but the flower no one can find. Your heart is the light of this world. It needs to just fully be seen. Om Hari 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 Om Hari Om Hari 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 Om Hari Om Hari Hari. Your heart is the light of this world. It needs to just fully be seen. Bathe in the river of your being. You need not to be anything. Peace and love is your fragrance, but the flower no one can find. Your heart is the light of this world. It needs to just fully be seen. Om Hari 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 Om Hari Om Hari 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 Om Hari Om Hari Hari. Your heart is the light of this world. It needs to just fully be seen.
Namaste everyone, very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Mujiji ki Jai. Welcome, welcome. If you're in the Hangout, the way to ask questions is to unmute your mic and to start speaking. And YouTube chat, you can post your question over there and we will look at it. Do we need to say something? If there was no more words ever, nothing more to understand, nothing more to know, no freedom to get, would it be a problem? Yes.
The problem is the opposite. So much to know.
Yes, exactly. So now, can we keep it aside or no? All this which is saying, I need to know so much, I need to get so much, I need to become free. Can we keep it aside or no?
Can keep it aside, but somewhere it says me.
Yes, this me is appearing to you. Therefore, this it won't go. The one that says me does not have to go. It's very good you bring this up. Because the feeling is that this must go.
That's what I was thinking.
No, but it can stay, and when it is seen to be another appearance, then it will not seem so loud. It just seems like. Yes. So if it doesn't bother us, then why must it go? Just another idea. That's why Bhagavan said that this rope of the ego then becomes the burnt rope. He did not say that the rope vanishes. So it's burnt means it has no power over you. Just like there's some traffic noise, something. It's just a noise. It doesn't bother us because we know it is not me. It can say me, but we don't have to believe it. It will always say me. Sometimes it starts saying you actually. In my case, it stopped saying I so much. It started saying you must do this, you must do that. Some of you also repeat. So whether it says me or you or I, it doesn't matter because it gets no belief. Just like the sound of this fan. Doesn't matter. So if this is also then kept aside, then what is that?
Thoughts. Have I kept it aside? Is it there?
Kept it aside means, what does it mean to keep it aside? Just we don't believe them. Just we don't believe it. And not even them you have to worry about, only the next one don't believe. Just don't believe your next thought. Yes.
I believe quite a lot of thoughts.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know if I believe, but they came very strong. Again, about the in-laws thing. It was great. Like we had a nasty fight and something. Like it just like I was just speaking very like harsh, and the point was he was trying to bring them back for like a month, and I'm like I need my own space like every other month. No, it was just like and I couldn't even like sleep and I could just see this me. Last time my body was overworked, and it's like it was intense, and then something was like even if I have to let go of this, then I'm not going back to satsang. Like I'm not going to let go of even this, like this sense of me, like.
It was saying that if even this I have to let go of, then I would rather keep this.
Yes,
Then
so I want to hold on to this sense of
at
me.
least this is important.
Like, and I woke up in the morning and it was like I could, something felt like apologizing to some, like because it was very harsh on my side. And he's like, "We'll stop the discussion now." I couldn't go to sleep. I went to sleep. I feel I'm going to die in that burning. It was like so intense, that heat in the body, like just like this sense of something wants to be separate, like from at least somebody I want to be separate.
At least this you leave
At least
with me.
this. In the morning I could I told him like really I'm grateful for this book. I was weeping and like just sense of please at least let this be there. And I was telling him like our father says not even a blade of grass. It was like I'm so grateful, but when I've said that externally it didn't feel. But inside, I couldn't see, like, life just brings perfect moment to show you. It's just like.
My in-laws are here, by the way. They came yesterday. My in-laws.
It's like, we had this fight, like, is this why we moved to India? Like, every other month we have parents visiting and I don't have my space and I have to, like, cook all day and I have to, like, no, like, my body's so overworked, like, so this me, and then I realized, like, this me who wants life her own way. Like, just get this one out, like, just it's more burdensome to have this one than actually working all day. I feel like that. Like,
of course it is. Yes, during these times it can seem like at least this me I have to keep. At least this one, I'm not giving this to him. This one is completely justified. Yes.
I'm not going back to satsang. What is the point of that? Like, and I could see, I just know in my heart it's not true. I just know I'm coming back. And there's this grumpy one that also, like, I was telling her, just can't make it to satsang all day. I can make it only for 1 hour. Like, what is this? Like, just so grumpy. Even in this yesterday's satsang, you were asking who's grumpy. I felt like I am grumpy right here. And I don't want to get out of the grumpy.
Yes.
I wanted to stay grumpy and just be grumpy. Oh. I'm so grateful. Samak is so like understanding. Like even after all that in the morning, he just hugs me and he's like, it's all okay. I'm like, I don't know if you understand it, but I'm grateful. He's like, okay, it's fine.
Because he must have slept properly.
He went to bed early and I couldn't go. It was like so intense.
This one thing I've also noticed. In the way it plays, usually in the expression in this realm, the manly expression is able to go to sleep very easily after. Isn't it? And then if the women who are not able to sleep, usually asleep, I'm sure there are exceptions, and they're saying, I want to wake him up and sort it right now. He's sleeping, let's talk in the morning. Why is it like that? I don't know. But it's good in a way. So you say he was calm in the morning. Everything was.
Drama.
The ego is a drama queen. It does not like the lack of drama. And there's neutrality, then it has to. He said, no, the ego is a drama queen, and if you believe this one, then your life becomes a soap opera.
There's something like.
You know, I should record just like a 5-second recording, which only says knock knock. Just the knock knock. Whenever something comes, you play that knock knock. This me, I don't want to leave this me.
It's like this question, who is enough? And I see there's nobody. But this one just like came like, oh, like there's no control. Like I was out of control. Like I could see so clearly. Like, you know.
What if your in-laws came for a month and you didn't cook at all? Suppose. That's not my advice to you, by the way. But is it their expectation that she will cook all 3 meals, or is it from you?
I mean, somebody has to cook.
Yes, so many things.
It's not just cooking. It's just so.
You know, in Bangalore now they also have these services. Not just the food delivery services, there are also services which are willing to be your assistant, do everything for you.
They don't cook Bengali food. That is the biggest. That's another like, oh, like you can't get out.
So your in-laws want to eat for a month all 3 meals Bengali food. I'm sure they must be tired of Bengali.
No, they're not. I'm sorry, but it's such a like somebody calls up in the morning and like this food thing.
What does he do? He calls in the morning and tells you the menu for the day.
No, it's about food. It's they're so food centric.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Like life is about. I'm sorry, but this is what was happening yesterday. So like it still pushes my buttons. Like.
There are very nice Bengali restaurants. Oh, Calcutta.
Yeah.
And a couple of.
Just need to be with them for a day and they're very nice. And my family is just not so fortunate. I mean,
I'll fit in very well because my original name was Topon.
It is a Bengali name.
Originally my name was Bengali.
Sorry, I don't know. It's just like, oh, let's do
I'm also provoking it to come out.
Like Samik provoked it in the morning. Like, you know, I'm very used to like parathas and achar for breakfast. Bengalis think that's like ridiculous, like having achar and paratha. Like, he calls up, he goes for a conference, he's like, you know what was for breakfast today? Like paratha, achar and dahi. And he's like,
oh, he also like.
He's just provoking me because he's like, you know, and he's like, you're burning your. I'm like, so stop it, like, you know, I'm burning it out.
So what is a Bengali breakfast? Every day?
Or rotis and sabzi. Like they're fine, but they don't like. Stupid, I'm ranting it out.
The
like
worst
this,
that can happen is that you will not get their approval. You will be branded the worst daughter-in-law in the world. Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The worst daughter-in-law in the world. After doing all this, learning Bengali and all of this, even after that, if you're the worst daughter-in-law in the world, but you're my best daughter, is it enough or no? Is it okay or no?
I don't know.
This is what you have to contemplate.
Even the sense of wanting approval, like even from Samik, like yesterday I was just grumpy all day and he's like, what's going on? And there's nothing to explain. I don't even know why I'm grumpy. I can't stop being grumpy. And like
When did
everything.
he, I'll tell you, when did he announce that his parents are coming?
He just said I called them in August, like,
In the
what?
morning or
In the night. Like,
but you were grumpy before that?
yes. I was grumpy enough and he was pushing buttons and he was like, what am I doing? I don't know, I'm just grumpy.
We're going to send this YouTube to your in-laws. And then you're done anyway. It'll be very freeing actually.
Ay, ay. And then they come here, and then within 10 days we go to Calcutta for like 15 days. And then we go in December. Like, I feel like it, like, he's like, this is why I moved to India, because, you know, you want to be with them. Like, really, all throughout the year. Oh, no. Like, not really. I want to ask you, Father, like, really, like, jokes apart, like, this sense of me, I keep watching Guruji's videos, even this morning, like, you know, just do like that. But it says, like, you know, just let go of, yeah, like, there's this me, like, wanting her day to be, like, you know, just the way she wants it, you know. And when they come, it's not like that, because there's much more, and I'm really happy doing it. I'm seriously, like, there's a lot of joy in serving, because the mother-in-law is not very physically fit. But then there's this one that says later on that I was so exhausted and they can't like get out of their food habits and you know, they're so particular. What is this one? Like, this is not me.
Yes.
Why is it not just getting let go of? Like,
because there's a belief about it.
yes, belief about culture, belief like, you know.
Belief in this identity of daughter-in-law. Welcome.
Belief in the identity of daughter.
Who is the daughter-in-law?
I don't know.
Then who wants to be a loved daughter-in-law? If nobody is the daughter-in-law, then that nobody wants to be loved. Who's scared of the label worst daughter-in-law?
Nobody. It's just created, like imagine.
This
Like
sense
as though this one here, like this body.
as though the body is the daughter-in-law.
No, like you know, whatever expressions, like it feels like something pinches the body, showing it, and so there's nobody.
There's nobody. then who's playing the role of daughter-in-law? But when they come, something must be playing the role.
When they come, it's fine. It's before the coming that always there's like this. When they come, actually, it's much better.
Who's playing all roles?
I really don't know. Can't say God.
Any role happens when consciousness is not here? Only in the presence of consciousness that all roles get played. Whose problem is it? Either you say nobody or you say God's problem is the same thing.
See you, Father.
And this, by the way, does not mean that we become open to everything. The feeling then that can come is that everything, then we're like sheep. Acceptance is not vegetative. So also you accept your reaction that comes. So if some reaction is coming on its own in that moment, you accept that also. So then it becomes a little subtle. So we see that we are open like this, what seems to be coming outward to inward, and also we are open to what seems to be inward to outward. Actually, it's all in front of us. But acceptance doesn't mean that only one way acceptance. It's also like this is flowing. Who is flowing? It is still God. If that is God, then this is also God.
But it felt like that came because there was a sense of a person being identified. That's why it came out that way.
So all of these appearances actually happen on their own. So the thought happens on its own, the belief happens on its own, the action happened on its own, and then the ego comes up with this story that because this thought came, that's why I acted like this.
Something I want to clarify.
Yeah.
Like I feel like thought and actions are not related.
Yeah.
But when there's a sense that I'm identified with this thought, the words that come out from here are different from when I'm not identified. So the play is that way, right?
Yes, the play
It's
is
just
designed
playing
in
that
this way. Yeah.
just to fool you.
Just to convince you that this individual doership is present. What would happen if you put on a computer game and you're firing using in my time you used to press spacebar, now we have possibly fancy devices. You press the spacebar and the gun doesn't fire at all. Then you'll say, what kind of lousy game is this? You're pressing the control and it's not reacting in the game. You see? But is the spacebar causing the gun to fire? No. It's just the program itself. You are the witness of all of this happening. Even your most identified state, you are witnessing. From the absolute perspective, you are just aware of all of this. Then, as being, you are doing all of this and you are experiencing all of this. Then, as person, nothing at all because it doesn't exist. Therefore, we must check what am I, which perspective have I picked up. And either the perspective of being or the ultimate perspective of awareness is fine. And who is this instruction for? It is for being itself. That's why I find, especially these days, I feel open. Open is the best word ever. It's open.
It's open and everything.
Yes, yes. So when everything is open, does it feel like everything gets collected? No. When everything is open, then it feels like it's just flowing.
It's not collecting. It's just it just feels like everything is welcome and everything is coming, but it's not staying. It's staying.
This is beautiful because you're not resisting anything.
Something he wants to explain to him, like I don't know why I'm grumpy, but I don't know if he can understand that it's just sometimes like something here feels like I'm not able to explain, or like it's going too far. And
To become open to the seeming others not understanding also. Because I see this is very prevalent also. That I get it now, but my husband doesn't get it. Like I asked also. I get it now, but how to explain to my wife? Can we just be open to them not understanding? This is freedom. This is space. Then you create all space around everything. When it's about expectation, when it's about even this that he should get it as an expectation.
or even this desire to be in satsang here, like physically, like it feels like being so close, like physically close to your home, and I can't make it. Is sometimes like like even yesterday in satsang, I was so grumpy, like be there, but there's no way I can make it here unless somebody's at home with the kids. Then I just let the one take care of everything. Just know I want to be in satsang, but whenever I can. So I don't want it to be like a.
That's what I said. Just be open to whatever it is. Do not argue with what is. Katie says, also. Maybe Katie says, no? What is the full quote? I forget.
If you argue with what is, you lose, but only 100%.
If you argue with what is, you lose, but only 100% of the time. Beautiful quote by Byron Katie. Only 100%. So don't argue with the fact that there was an argument last night. It is what it is. It's okay.
Yeah, there's not much of resentment. It's just, well, like I should just be.
Yeah.
You can just see it was grace. It's all grace anyway. So big grace.
The big grace. Grace attack.
Grace attack. It's just thanking him all morning. It's just like something stay back, Everything's just like slipping away.
If there is something that you don't like, there's a tendency to overcome to do that.
But how do you first not like something? How do you come to this point of not liking? It means like resisting, isn't it? That's what you mean. So how do you come to not liking something? If you're open, then how can the dislike come? If you're meaning it in that way, the resistance. Not like very casually, okay, I don't like this food, I prefer this food, that's okay. Yes, that's what I meant, that it's not the openness or acceptance doesn't mean that we are sheep now, everything.
But strong dislike for a person is an opportunity for him.
Yes.
You are open and there is no action, because it's a thought and action that I still don't understand. But if you're open and there's no action coming down, then later on the reactions are going to be huge. A lot of blaming, a lot of yelling will happen.
Can we be open to that also? This is also a presumption that if you're open, no action will come. You see, the fear is this. But I'm open and I'm sharing like this. Is it action or not?
I need more proof of that in my life.
That's why you have to check for yourself. You have to check. Like right now, actions are happening. Are they coming from a closed place because you're believing thought?
Actions will happen that are in tune with what is happening. It may not be in tune with somebody else's expectation.
Yes.
And so naturally get into trouble.
Let that one get into trouble. Why you have to get into trouble? If you're open to whatever reaction also, how can you get in trouble? And you're just presuming to go with your presumption that you will get.
And then I say, oh my God, instead of facing all this, it's better to do the job. Instead of facing all the blame.
But how do you know that if you're open, you won't do the job?
Maybe it won't occur to me that I should do it.
Check, you have to check these things.
Also, in the last few days, I saw that my ego is quite subdued, not that interfere. It's okay. It's there definitely, but not that it opened up like food. When it got the food, it just, I was like, wait, this is really new. I mean, where's this coming from? What is this? But it was very strong.
The ego, when you got some food, then it became very strong.
Yeah.
Food means what? Belief.
In some situations, something happened, and suddenly I felt like, protecting myself, standing up. I usually don't have that problem, but it was, I said, maybe you're doing some work and something is happening. So always I struggle.
Yes.
I used all the spiritual stuff somehow to, but it was strong. It was strong.
It can seem like this, especially when we are coming now face to face with our reality. Like Guruji says, no, that all the mind comes with all its cousins and says, come, come, we must.
Such a silly thing, but still it was standing so strong.
What is strong for you?
Somehow I was getting diminished.
I was
And
getting?
The I was getting diminished.
Okay.
And I felt it was
The
not
sense
fair
of-
and I needed to, because I am a person who tries to go to the background. Generally, that's my thing. And I just wanted to do the other side. So it was unusual for me.
Yes, but even the background I is a attribute of the ego. The I that says I must be in the background, subdued. And now the verse I came. How do you know which is worse? It could be the one who wants to be in the background, which is strongly arrogant. If the presumption of I is stronger, then it wants to hide in the background. More fearful, more arrogant at the same time. See, in the world there is this term called passive aggressive.
Oh yeah, I've seen that part of me. Yes.
So this is more arrogant than even the aggressive one. Arrogance means what? Just the belief that I can be separate from God. That can be the most arrogant. The most arrogant is not to say that I am God, although it can also come from a place of arrogance. So to say I am God actually for me sounds humbler than to say I am an individual separate from God. So whether it plays in a subdued way or it plays in an upfront way, that doesn't matter actually. Because the belief already is that I am separate. I have this ability to separate myself from God. But this I forget about it for some time. Whatever the I story is, just leave it aside. Anything which is saying, but this happened to me, this might happen to me, keep it aside. And now what remains? Don't believe anything. You're checking with your thoughts again and those won't help you. Just see, don't check with thought. Our habit, and I have to point these things out, you see. Our habit is that when we are put in a spot, we immediately, how do I respond? Yes, yes. But that I don't know is good. Huh? This I don't know is good. Just don't believe anything that your thoughts are saying. Just you will see that you can just check for yourself. The seeing which is here does not need to rely on thought. The habit is this way. And we are breaking this habit now. And all of us have had it first when we come to Satsang. I've said this to many. Because I can see when I ask you something to check, what are you checking with? Again, like,
Checking the feeling inside.
check the feeling and check who is aware of the feeling also.
Without thinking, how do you check?
Yes, but checking is before thinking. You need to look at this glass, you need to think. You check the glass, you have to think. So even to check inside, we don't need to think. This is just a presumption. But to check also, I need to think. What thought is needed? The thought check is needed to check.
So when you say check inside,
Yeah.
you just see.
Yes. You just see. And I don't care if the answer after that is all some garbled rubbish. It doesn't matter to me. Because I will be able to see that you checked or not.
See in the sense of visibly see, or Just feel. What was it?
To visibly see, do you mean the visibly see even when the eyes are closed, that visibly see? You can say like that. So what do you see now?
Feel something in your chest.
Yes. So this feeling is emerging. Is this in front of you when you're checking? Is it the seeing itself is feeling, or it seems like the seeing is just aware of this feeling?
This physical slight pain in the heart.
Yes.
That's all.
So check on this. Okay, so let's do like this. Just look at the glass. So there is a witnessing happening of the glass. Now witness the sensation in the chest.
There is pain. Slight, very dull.
It's okay. You're not so worried about the content of it. The question is the witness of the glass same as the witness of the sensation in the chest?
Mm.
So this witness is the same. You see? Now witness a thought also. It's a thought also. We can wait. Wait for a thought to come, you witness it actually.
When it slows down, it's
No, now, I mean now. Witness the same of thought also. So same witness is witnessing external and witnessing seemingly internal. Now this witness is who? Does it seem like I'm closer to these objects which are witnessed, or does it seem like I'm closer to this witness? Let's check that. Yes. Does it seem like I am closer to this witness which witnesses all of this, or does it seem like I'm closer to the objects which are witnessed? Is your mind trying to distract you internally? It's not, you're not able to hear clearly what it is. It's very natural for this to happen. You see, so what can happen is when we are having such direct inquiry, the mind wants to come in and participate and say, like Guruji said, no, it comes and starts making noises and distracts you. It's okay, but I'm here. So very beautifully, we've already checked that the witness is the same, external object or internal object. So the question then is very simple. It is, does it seem like I am this witness, or does it seem like I'm part of the objects? You're the witness. Now this witness, can you tell me something about this?
constant.
What else?
Somewhere in
The
the background.
background. What else? Does it have any phenomenal attributes? Can you say what color it has? No attributes. Now what is the distance between you and this?
The distance is there.
Yeah. Where are you? Check.
More in the eye. And then
Where is
for
this?
a little bit I go to this.
There's the witness. Don't go with any visualization, any imagination, nothing. No creativity at all. We're just still checking. So there's witness of glass, same witness who witnesses feeling, same witness who witnesses thought. I said, what is the distance between you and this witness? Now, without imagining, without visualizing, just check for yourself.
I'm the witness.
Huh?
I'm the witness.
You are the witness. Are you even the witness, or is there just this witnessing? A witness would mean that there is an entity.
witnessing.
You see it like this?
I think I still understand this. There's a still gap is understanding. The witnessing is
But how is what you see different from how this understanding is? Something is trying to escape and finish this conversation. Yeah.
the sense of I. I don't know where mind stops and where the witnessing is. I think it's all kind of mix.
Is there a mind now? What is the mind? Tell me only what you see, nothing that you think or imagine. You see a mind? Don't see a mind, so forget about it.
Okay.
Tell me what you see. You can see a thought, but can you see the mind?
I
So
can sense the thought.
you can sense a thought.
I can sense the energy of the thought.
Yeah. You can sense the energy of the thought. You can sense the energy of the sensations, feelings, pain. All these you can sense. You are aware of them. They are not aware of you. So this one that is aware, how is this one different from you?
It's very different.
Yes, tell me how what you see is different.
Me is limited with
Now where is
attributes
this
and
one? Where is this
everything.
limited attributes one? Only what you see, remember? So you say there is a me which is limited. Where is this one?
It's just this ocean of whatever it's large awareness. And then there is this,
This is just ideas.
I don't know what else to say.
This is just an idea. It's a visual representation. And you're relying on the visual representation.
I feel there's a gap between there and here.
Don't feel the gap. See the gap. See if there is one. This is what I'm encouraging you to do. You see? Because you can lose many lifetimes just relying on feeling, relying on what the thoughts are saying, or these imaginations. This is your opportunity.
Sentence will make me cry.
With this opportunity,
I'm losing lifetimes.
yeah, let it not.
Reach is important.
Yeah, but you can actually check now. It's okay.
If that just
Triggered
gets to
something.
me on
It's triggered something strong.
the first thing I can think of for me in this lifetime is to deal with that and not realize it's been there for long.
So we don't want that. You're here now. So then you must, if you don't want that, then you must just hear what I'm saying. Don't translate, don't interpret, nothing. I'm saying that we must check what is the distance between this awareness and me. You said that there is a lot of distance, a lot of difference. There is a me which is identified, it's small, it's limited. So my question was, where is this me? Where do you see it? This is where we are.
It's just there somewhere.
But do you see the presence or you're just relying on second-hand evidence?
I feel
You
that,
feel?
that
Yes.
there is some separateness or there is something.
So the one that is aware of this separateness, is that you? Or is the one who is separate, is that you? You must check. So it can feel like there's these external objects in front of me, internal objects in front of me. This sense of separateness is not in front of you.
This glass of
Yeah.
water, I feel this is glass of water and this is not me.
Yeah.
But for somebody like you, once I drink it, it becomes part of me. Okay? It becomes me. But I'm still thinking it's different. But for you, it is not different. For you, you can see that that is also part of you. So I'm
Don't presume that. Don't presume that. You said that when you drink it, it becomes part of you.
Yeah.
Which you? The body?
Yeah, body
And
yeah, body.
so it feels like it becomes part of me. This is the body identification speak. Now, if you were completely just identified as the body, then run through your last 10 problems and tell me how many of them were just about the body. So the remaining 80%, not about the body. So whose problems were they?
The false sense of I am.
The sense of I. But does it have any existence actually? See, this water thing I like because this is atoms and molecules goes into atoms and molecules becomes part of the body. Okay. Now the rest of it, which is the sense of this me, where does it exist?
Can I say something?
See,
So when we sit with an enlightened person who doesn't have that body limitation and
identification.
it's everything, and we become part of you, and with that, something should shift. I don't know how.
This is the shifting. This itself is the shifting. It's like Guruji gave this beautiful example. He was sitting with all of us, and one very old friend was there in the beginning days. Nataraj was there. So he was throwing grapes. Guruji was throwing grapes. And Nataraj is just waiting. And then the grape went hit. The grape went hit him. So Guruji is saying, at least, move your head little this much. I'm doing all the work. Just move your head at least this much. He's saying, no, that also you must move. Of course, there will be a time where the sense of you and me will dissolve. It will dissolve. But as long as there is a sense that you must do this for me, then my request to you is at least when the grape is coming like this, then at least this much you can do.
Trying to do left, right, still not getting the grade.
Yeah? Because you cannot listen to two sets of instructions at the same time. So what happens is that one set of instructions coming from here, one set of instructions coming from there. So then the left right is becoming everything seems very confused. Left or right, what is he saying? It's not clear. Because all I'm actually saying is just to see. Because we have this presumed sense of a me which is limited. What existence does that have? Is it not just an idea?
Yes, but I feel stronger. It's a very strong idea. It just comes up.
Okay, right now it's there.
It's there somewhere. I don't know.
Even if it's little bit, can you point it out? Otherwise, it remains a presumption till you see it yourself. Then I can tell you what it is, but it is not important for me to tell you. It is important for me to get you to check.
What do you want me to check?
This check, you said it feels like the sense of I is here, this limited one. I am asking, where is it?
These
So at best, it can be like a sensation. Is it like that? So if it's like a sensation, are you that sensation or are you that which is aware of it? It can seem a little bit like a torturous exercise sometimes. What do you want me to do? Actually, it's very, very simple. You see, the simplicity of it is confusing. It sounds very abstract right now. As you stay in satsang, you'll find, yes, this is what you were saying. But a lot of this defrosting has to happen, and it's okay. If it's accompanied by some tears, you can also shout and rave and rant. It's okay. We won't let you. If they not play, let's block her in there. It can be frustrating. And what is this now? Stop. Can you look at somebody else, please? It can come. No, I'm not saying it's there right now, but also it can come. So that's why we say that in satsang, when you feel that you can't stand in the heat, you must stay in the kitchen. Already in this what seems to be in your mind, it might seem to be whatever, but I can see that so much has been burnt off. So much. So don't believe any conclusions of your mind. So the mind will want to do a postmortem together with you later and say, that is interaction and what happened. No, forget about all that. It's all grace.
Okay, I have a question. Um, so I recently started working in the corporate world.
She says, I recently, let me translate for them because they get frustrated sitting over there not being able to make out the question. So this is a new one who joined us today, Sindhura. She says, I recently started working in the corporate world.
And there are so many things that I'm actually a sort of person who actually analyzes the things that I've taken a long time to find who I really am, reacted in various ways, made my mistakes, and I took a stand for who I was. But when you're thrown back to that world again, then there are so many changes that happen all over again. So suddenly you start weighing out like pros and cons of who you have because the world expects you to be this way. So what do you take a stand for?
So she said that she took a lot of time, evaluated, came to this conclusion about who she was, and yet when this who she was met with the world, then because of the pushback, you sense a lot of expectations that can come, and they want you to be a certain way.
Yeah, also responsibilities and
Yeah.
it's expectations and responsibilities that you move forward. So that kind of collides with the who you are and who you found yourself to be.
Yes. So who are you?
At the end of the day, no one but just
So when you evaluate it, is this the conclusion that you came to, that I am no one?
um, no, I came to the conclusion that I am an individual and this is what I'm comfortable with and this is how I perceive things.
And then some of these questions might seem silly to you. Bear with me for some time. This individual, can I meet this individual? The body is the individual. Then how can I meet the individual?
Um, through conversation thinking or interaction.
Okay. And if it's not the body, then where is this individual? The mind. And what is the mind? We're just coming on the same plane. See, I'm not interrogating. If it's just feeling like an interrogation, don't. I think we are coming to the same common ground so that we can take the conversation forward. So you say that this individual is the mind. Now, what is this mind? This mind, what does it look like? So what I usually say is that this mind is just a bundle of thoughts and similar energies like memory, imagination. Do you agree with this definition? Yes. So if it's just a bundle of these energies, how can it do anything at all?
But doesn't your mind kind of define what you think person you are?
It defines the person. But if I were to tell you that you are not a person at all, would it sound too radical?
Which I would make me question everything.
It's very important. This questioning everything is very important because we have come to some conclusions, which is already very good because you have this inquiring temperament, you see. So let's not just come to the conclusions which some thoughts are telling us. Let's also ask, so who is aware of these thoughts when they come? This one, who is this one that is aware even of thought?
So
And who would be aware of the soul even if it was like that? So then the soul would also be another appearance to you. So this one at the root of it, who is it? Which is this me is who?
just the energy as
Energy. Yes. But whatever energy there might be, there must first be a you that is aware of it, isn't it? Even to feel an energetic presence, first there must be a you that is aware of an energetic presence.
consciousness.
Is consciousness just a label or does it mean something? What does it stand for?
Being present and understanding what's happening. But beyond the individual, but it is feeling itself presence.
It's a presence which is felt by who? Yes. So we keep coming back to this one. You see, and this is what the investigation is all about here. And it's a small room with a small group of people because this investigation is very unpopular. Because everybody would much rather be comfortable, not everybody, most would much rather be comfortable with the presumed idea of a me than look at it directly. Which camp would you fall in? You want to look at it directly or you're comfortable with the presumed idea of me?
Because I'm not
Not.
comfortable with it.
This is good. This is music to my ears. So like I was sharing with her that there is a witnessing of that which seems external. There is also a witnessing of that which is internal. Mhm. So then the question remains, who does this witnessing belong to? Is there an entity to which it belongs? So if you were to ask yourself this, after checking, without relying on any knowledge, anything you've learned in the past, then what would you say?
It is me. Now everything seems blank. Because if there is no reference of any thought from the past, like there's no reference of any memory from the past,
Yes,
it's that pressure.
yes. Because you are here now. Can you go to the past or the future? We're here now. So this you, what we are looking for is this one, which is here now. So why do we have to go to the past?
That's the intermediate definition for
It is the problem is the definition. The definition means what? A collection of concepts which say that I am this way, I am that way, I'm straightforward, I'm truthful, I'm like this. All of these are just concepts, a collection of concepts. Are you just a bundle of concepts? A bundle of concepts is not here. You are here. This you that is here, this is what the self-discovery is about. Most direct way to realize what we are without any 10-step program, without any set of practices. Just simply looking because I must be here now. So who is that which is here now?
the definition add-on.
Then you're free to define whatever you like, but you will not be bound by a definition of yourself.
So we just go to go
But if you find that you are that, which is all there is, then where would you grow? See? So again, the mind comes in as an ally, tries to be an ally and says that, okay, these are the benefits of realizing what you are, benefits of discovering it like this. But we're not interested for a while in what the mind has to say. Because we're just checking. Who am I now? Who am I now?
Isn't going to always be a question?
No.
Does it get answered at
Yes.
some point?
It can be answered right now.
It's been a constant battle to like answer that
Yeah.
question.
This is good. This is good. The answer is available right now. But the answer is not a concept. Okay? The trouble is that we are waiting for a conceptual answer so that I will be able to define who I am. What if you were to find that you are that in which all concepts appear and disappear, but you cannot be defined conceptually? But it doesn't mean that you cannot witness yourself. You can completely see who you are, but you might not be able to come up with the articulate definition of it. Because you are that which is undefinable, unlabelable, but completely present.
One way I think to achieve that is by just letting go.
But to achieve that would again bring the future into the picture. To achieve something, I'm going to achieve something is already presuming a future, isn't it? Why not right now? What is here now? Yes. This is me. Is this me? And what can you say about this me?
Existence of
As what? The living is what? You're here is what?
an experience as
So is the I an experience or is the I the experiencer?
you just go through it, go through all the experiences. You gotta separate yourself from
Okay, this is understood? Now throw away this understanding because this will only get in the way.
took a while to understand.
Yes, yes, that's why I'm saying throw it away. Because again, not helpful. This understanding again becomes a intellectual concept or a mental understanding.
It's defined.
Yes, you defined it. So now keep that also aside. And what is here now? This energy which is experienced by
So,
eye. And this eye looks like what? What color are the eyes of this experiencer? This experiencer, presuming that it exists, does it have a preference for which experience it wants? It has a preference? Okay, which is what? Right now, what is the preference of the experiencer?
your question of like your very elsewhere.
Yes. And this came as what? As a thought, isn't it? So this is a thought which was also experienced. So is the experiencer concerned about this thought? Then don't own it. So let all thoughts come and go. And you find that this one that you are is completely unconcerned with any of this movement of consciousness, movement of phenomenal appearances. Too much to swallow at one go? It's okay. What if I were to tell you that there is no experiencer also? It is only the experiencing that you are. That be too radical now?
Concept that I haven't thought of.
When you contemplate this, because an experiencer would imply that there is an entity that owns the experiencing, isn't it? There is somebody who is aware. I am saying that there is nobody who is aware, it is just the awareness itself that you are. That's a bit of a leap, so we'll come to that because that we are talking about the content of what is appearing. But let's first come to clarity about who I am. Then to see where the appearance comes from, whether it's inside me or not, that's separate. So if you came to this discovery that I'm not the experiencer, but I'm the experiencing itself. I'm not the one who is aware, I'm the awareness itself. So, okay, let this be my submission to you, and you check and prove me wrong. I'm completely open. You see, because I don't want this to become another understanding, because again, we have to throw that away. You have to be able to check this for yourself and say, this is exactly how I see it for myself, without any visuals, without any creativity, without any thoughts. This is what I see. So when we need to see where the sun is rising from, do we rely on a thought? No, we just go and see. The same way to check about who I am, I've already told you the answer. All you have to do is verify whether this is true like this or whether I am wrong.
Who I am right now
Yes.
is exactly
Okay, where are you exactly? So all this external world is appearing in front of you. Yes. So this appearance is there. Then when you close your eyes, other things will appear. Thoughts can appear, emotions can appear, memories can appear, imagination can appear. Yeah. So this one who is witnessing both these external objects and internal objects, who is this one? So not the content of the appearance we are talking about. It is the one to which they are appearing. Who is this one? Yes. So is this one affected by the content of any appearance? No. So then how will the world now push you back? If it is not touched by the content of any appearance, then what can push you back? Even this, is it possible? Is it the witnessing, the awareness has some intention to go forward or back? Is it? Do you see it like this?
No, when something is pushing me back, and it's my own.
But we are before that. We have not come to that point yet. So the question is, what now in the appearance can actually push you back at any moment? Okay, how? Okay, thought is another appearance. And we already said no appearance can touch me. Okay, you are unaffected. So how would you actually be affected? With what?
Not present, not conscious.
Can you turn it off? Yeah. Try. Stop being for just a minute.
Can't stop.
Can't stop. Can't stop being. This being itself is consciousness. How will you not be conscious then?
So is consciousness always present?
In the waking state.
But that doesn't mean it's not enough to like remind that being conscious now. Take the representation.
Remind who? Which is aware even of consciousness. You are that which is aware even of consciousness. Now what should consciousness remind you of? It needs to remind awareness, this awareness, that it just needs to be. Actually what happens is that there's this presumed feeling of an individual entity or the me, which says that if only consciousness would do this for me, my life would be much happier. But this voice is not you. It is again coming from the presumed idea of things.
So what can me as an entity do?
Nothing. Because you don't exist. You as an entity don't exist. Can you show me this one? That's the whole problem. This is called the ego. In the world, the definition of ego is somebody who's very arrogant, egoistic. It's not like this. Just this sense that I am an individual, separate entity is the ego. That I am a person is the ego. What is the meaning of this? So we've been using this example over the last few days. For your entire life, you were born in a world where there were no mirrors. So you couldn't check who you are. Everybody around you said you're a cat. Yeah? You're a cat. So immediately when you were born or whatever, when you're 2 years old, you were told that you have to walk on all fours and you have to look for milk because you're a cat. And you saw other cats, they were meowing, so you also started meowing. So now all of us, now we are at this age now, we are grown up cats. We're mature cats now. So now we have been conditioned that we are cats. Right? Now you say, what must this cat do? You come to Satsang and say, how can this cat be happy? I say, I'm showing you a mirror which will show you that you're not a cat at all. So the question from you is, how can this person be happy? I am saying you're not a person at all. I have the mirror. But now what will happen for a while is that because the conditioning is strong, even though in the mirror you find that there is no cat, you will still say, but it still feels like I'm a cat. Or I still think I'm a cat. Because that is just the conditioning itself. So if you were to keep this conditioning aside for just a while, what do you see in the mirror? When you check inside for yourself, who am I? Do you find the existence of a person or an entity? So don't presume that you are that unless you show me some evidence of it. Then that cannot exist.
So we still non-exist.
the sense of this separate me is non-existent. This witnessing which is here, this awareness which is here is undeniable. Yes, it is what is. So you must be this. This is my submission to you, remember? That you must be this awareness, this pure witnessing. So how can you check upon this and then tell me if this is true or not? It is true. Okay, now if you are this witnessing, if you are this awareness, what do you want? But at any point, can the witnessing want something? Is that which is untouched by any appearance, can it have a preference within the appearance? So now how does this conditioning continue? How will you go back to personhood? Suppose you say, okay, I've heard all of this, like in the Matrix, no? The guy says, I know all of this is a Matrix, but this is too much fun, I want to be here. So now the red pill and blue pill are available for you. See? The red pill, or whatever, one of the pills is the contemplation of who am I and continuing to see that I must be just this awareness. You also can choose to believe that I'm a person because I'm too conditioned, I'm too much in the cat mode, I don't want to escape it right now. So then, how can you go back to it? Just by believing your next thought. Because all thoughts are speaking to you as a cat.
It's conditioned.
So therefore, if you want to be free from this conditioning, all that you have to do is don't believe your next thought.
How do you evaluate situations if you're not believing?
If you don't believe the thought, you will find that the one which is appearing, which you said consciousness, no? The consciousness which is here is the one doer and the one experiencer of all of this play. It is only the cat says, how will I find my next bowl of milk? But there is no cat. See, this is what happened. You will say, I see I'm not a person, and then say, what should I do next? But whose question is this again person? Again the cat saying, okay, I see I'm not a cat, but how do I get my next bowl of milk? Then we can say, whose question was that?
But how do you deal with situations where
Is this a cat question or awareness question?
I'm aware?
The cat will never become awareness. This is also good news that you said this like this. Then what can happen is, okay, what he's saying makes sense. I want to be a free cat.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a free cat. So there is no cat. So it will splash about a bit and say, yes, this is the way to do it, man. I am going to become the freest cat around. Freedom itself means throwing away of the cathood. Therefore, we can say that there is no such thing as a free person. It's an oxymoron. Either you're free or you're a person.
How do you step out from the condition?
Just don't believe your next thought. Yes, something will come and say it can't just be that simple. It is. Be conditioned and not believe the same thought, your next thought at the same time. Show me how.
So just let things happen as they happen.
Yes, like your hands are moving now, your mouth is expressing now. If you first think I'll move my hand like this, no, it's happening, isn't it? It's moving.
So there's no way to like control thoughts. It's just like
You would want to control thoughts only if they are trouble. And even to keep them away is not what I've said. Let them come and let them go. Even if attention goes to them, it's okay. There are two forces Two forces that you need to put into a thought to become miserable. First is the force of attention, second is the force of belief. Just by giving it attention, you will not become identified. So don't worry about pushing it aside, moving it away. Let it come, let it come, let it go. As the Zen master said, let everything come and let it go, just don't serve it tea. So what does it mean? Just don't give it your belief.
What are good thoughts and bad?
There are no such things.
They just come.
All thoughts presume that you are the cat. Tell me, is there any thought talking to you as awareness? Hey, awareness, why don't you always saying, Sundara, you, or whatever, I presume cathood. So this non-existent imagined one is bringing his petitions to you and saying, hey, there's so many hungry kids on Mars. Why don't you help them? Same way, no? The non-existent person wants life to be going in a certain way. No? It's like those hungry kids on Mars who are hungry for food. Doesn't exist. Hmm?
If any problems and something we have to do comes up, I just watch it with awareness.
No, this I don't pick up. The I that wants to watch it with awareness is which one? Not awareness? No plan will work.
No,
No strategy will work. Because all plans, all strategies are personal.
So in a situation like that, when you're in a troubled situation, where you're trying to find that consciousness and you're trying to just let the thoughts come and go, what do you do? What is your action? Because you have to put that consciousness, put it into action and do it.
Oh, this you that has to is which one?
Away from all the thoughts, away from me that is in the experience of that moment, who is going through that situation.
Yeah, is there ever this me?
No, but when you're just put into situations, then what
Who
do
is
you
put
do?
into situation?
An entity.
There is no entity. Check if it is true. It might sound crazy what I am saying, but to me it sounds crazy what you are saying. So we are on different planets. You see. So you have to check and tell me you're wrong. There is an entity. What do you mean? Show me this one. Introduce me. I want to meet that entity. It doesn't exist. This is just the mind throwing a tantrum because it knows it's in trouble. Only the presumed voice of this entity is here, which is there to make this game seem like this. When it's game over like this, then this voice can keep saying, but what do I do? I've heard this a few million times now, but okay, I get it. There is no cat.
No.
What should the cat do now?
Yeah.
There is no cat. What should the cat do? This is the question. There is no entity. What should the entity do? Does the question make sense? Nothing to do, nowhere to go.
Yeah, feel trapped now.
Trapped or free?
I don't know this feeling.
It's new. But you'll get used to it.
There's nothing to take from
Yes.
the past. There aren't no thoughts.
Then just the now. All there is what is. And it can seem like it's strange. It can seem like I'm in limbo. I don't know up or down what's going on. But you'll get used to this, and this will seem natural. Then we'll both inhabit the same planet. And somebody comes and says, "What do I do now?" You laugh like I laugh. But
So, by being absolutely conscious of the present, like just letting thoughts come in.
whose plan is this now? Whose strategy is to
No,
do?
it's not a strategy. It's just a quest.
Yeah.
Would this by itself help you to find find a balance?
Who helps who?
No, because
What's happening is that you're saying, okay, just for a moment, can you just presume that there is a me? And, just for a, you see, this is the request which is underlying the question. You see, just for an instant, I know what you're going to say. Just humor me just for a minute. So presume that there is a me. But if I was to fall into the same presumption, then we'd all be in trouble.
it's fine when I'm here because now I'm sitting and I'm just letting go and feeling lighter. But what when I'm just thrown back into people who are still cats? You're going to be living with cats, so.
No, you will not be living with cats because there is no cat.
For me, there's no cat right now.
For them also, there is no cat. They just
They
identified.
have cats.
They just identified with the idea.
Okay, exactly. So they have identified themselves as being cats.
Yes.
But now when
But
I'm
what will happen is that your understanding that you are not the cat, your presence will bless them.
They'll not scratch it.
yeah.
Can you be scratched? Unless you become a cat again. The ego cannot fight with itself.
There is an existence of being
There is no existence of an ego. It is the same as the belief in a cat. In the cathood is the existence of the ego.
So then what do I have to call mine at the moment?
You must tell me. What do you have to call yourself? Yes. Is that a problem? Because anything that you could get then becomes an attachment, which then becomes a fear of it being taken away. Even an understanding. That's why after the first round I said throw it away. But then you would feel that I have understood something which adds to the identification as a free cat. I am the free cat. Now I have understood something. Throw it away.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm just in a state of confusion.
Yes. From this confusion, as you keep checking, instead of relying on cat thoughts, you will find what you really are. You are finding it.
So, like I read a lot of things that said sometimes experiences mold you to be the person you are.
Throw it away. There are a lot of things which are said. There are millions of books which are there for cat self-help. Millions of cat self-help books.
It's not so much. Who you are today is just today.
What do you see?
Yeah, don't see anything.
So now, see, what do most teachers want? They want to make a follower out of you. Okay? I am saying that you don't even need to rely on me now. What do you see when you check?
So when I do check about whatever is happening around me, say I'm in a situation and I'm looking inside, I need basically a yes or a no because that's the directional answer that you look for, right? So now when I'm looking, I'm not seeing anything because I'm just letting it
Yes.
be.
This will become your natural state.
But how do I respond to the situation?
Like you're responding now.
How do I know if that's right or wrong?
Because you know that all is the play of consciousness of God Himself. Once you see that I'm untouched, anyway there won't be this fear of right or wrong.
So everything that you do, everything that you say, every decision you take is going to be natural.
It always has been this way. But only that we presume all has been coming from the, okay, let's go back to our example. All has been coming from the human only. Is there ever a cat? So all has always been coming from God only. Only this presumption that it is coming from a person. Somebody's inside?
Yeah. You need to be strong to stay grounded to this.
Who? This who haunts everyone here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly you find this voice coming, who?
It just seems to be more clarity.
But not one who is clear. More clarity, but not one who is clear.
Don't thoughts play with consciousness?
Thoughts play with consciousness. You can say it.
How do you resist like getting into the thoughts?
So, what we already said is it's okay if attention goes to them. They don't get them your belief. So your question is, but some still get your belief.
Even
Isn't it?
attention, like we want to be both at part.
No.
So we can.
Yes, yes.
But giving it attention would kind of, it's one step closer to believing in that.
Yes, yes. But it's, if I say, don't think of a pink elephant. Exactly. So that is attention. Don't believe you are a pink elephant. Easy. That's the difference. So for attention, what you're resisting will seem to get stronger and stronger. Belief is much more easy to manage. And you will find that as belief gets withdrawn more and more, even your attention will stop getting tempted to go towards it.
What about things from the past? Because thoughts are one thing, memories are another.
Yes.
You tend to rely on memories more than just passing thoughts because you've experienced something and you've gained something from it or you lost something. So how does that react to like, whatever happened now? You always pull things from the past.
Memory is what? A visual repetition of something that was experienced earlier. So memory in itself is no trouble. It is the interpretation of that memory, which is again a thought, which is the only trouble. Don't believe your next thought. Any visual can come, any imagination can come. It's okay. You see? You can see the table. Attention can be fully with the table. The thought can be, oh, it's so dirty. If you got into that, then you picked up the cat hood. Otherwise, it's just what it is. This does not mean that in naturalness you will not pick up a cloth and clean the table. That can also happen. But there is no judgment about that happening or not happening.
Does it work the same way for so when it comes to an object, it's easier to understand.
Yes.
But with the situation, it gets complex. So
No, every now is pure simplicity. It's only when we presume some futurehood or some past that the complexity can presumably be there.
Is there any baby steps to do towards bringing down the?
Now, there was a mountain, suppose you had to climb. You are at the top of the mountain. Now, this you're presuming. I'm saying you're at the top of the mountain, and you are asking, how do I start climbing? It's your presumption. So if it feels like there is still something which is not resonating with my own seeing, something which is being said here but is not resonating with my own seeing, then you can say, okay, this evidence I have for you to prove that I'm at the bottom. But looking at you, when I see you, when you contemplate, I see that you see it the same way. Once in a while something comes which is then cleaned up. It's okay. So how can we presume that you're at the bottom?
If I had to be in the consciousness doing everything, so to get little, I mean, confirmation that is happening.
You can, your being right now, you're aware of your being, isn't it?
I'm also aware of my me.
You're aware of your me?
What,
Where is it? Where is the me?
whatever it is.
No. You cannot say whatever it is. Where is the me?
Somewhere down.
It's just an idea. Imagine. Presence, you can experience. That's why you say, when I say, can you stop being? You say no. This me, can you experience? Just another idea. It has no tangible existence.
But at least all these years, the thought comes and I look at it from all angles and decide how it is.
So stop doing that. It's useless.
I stop it. And then I don't know where.
Yes,
Whether
get
it's
used
going
to
to
it.
be held and I'm going to fall into.
Yes, you'll get used to this and let this fear also get relieved. And you realize that you're not falling. It's the fear again from the identity. Fear of death, fear of dissolution, all this fear can be there. But you're discovering that you are this eternal one. You're that inside which all falling and arising is happening. How can you fall? Where will you fall?
It's still a difficult concept that something can happen with it.
Play with it, no? Experiment with it. I've seen many times. I've gone through this explanation for many people for a long time. But what only works is when they experiment with it, when they play with it, and they check for themselves. Because for me, it's absolutely clear. Because there is no person, there cannot be personal will. Now you have to check whether it's possible to have personal will without there being a person. You have to tell me. Okay, we've been not looking at the chat for quite some time. You want to come in? Oh, they want to speak? They can come. Okay, Aparna is still here. She can come. And then Parvati. To go. Don't hear you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Sorry, my voice was a bit, excuse me, the voice.
How's the baby now? How is she feeling?
She's okay. Both of us are sick.
Yeah.
Both she's okay now. It's like another 10 days they have to wait. Like it's sorted out. Sorry, my voice is gone.
Okay.
I'm trying my best to speak. Past couple of days there's like feeling of nothing. It's like No words to say. No words coming out.
Even if the feeling of nothing is there, you can be empty of everything, empty of everything. But can you be empty of yourself?
Yes, it's like even the thoughts come and go, they don't bother anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yesterday there was so much going on, even the body was in pain, but there's no suffering, Even though I was crying and all the things was going on, so much to do, um, she was so much irritating and she was crying at the time. But there was nothing like suffering or as such, and that was also seen. And also, it feels like before everything made sense to me in me, but now it's like no, nothing makes sense. It's like that, Father. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes. It can be like
So
that for a while. It can seem like nothing I hear even in satsang makes sense. Then after some time, it will be that everything I am only speaking. It seems to be coming from Ananta, but actually it's my own heart which is speaking. And it still might or might not make sense. Like this morning, actually, I woke up and one of the first things I saw was Parvati doing the broadcast. And so beautiful, I heard like this, and it's my own heart which was speaking. Like I could just wake up to this every day, every day. It was the same voice which was speaking. Like this, all of you will also see that this which is speaking is your own heart, your own presence. That's why I'm encouraging all of you actually to broadcast, to work.
grace, Father, all your grace, everything is your grace.
Yeah?
And everything is your grace, Father. It's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. It's all you. Thank you so much. We love you, Father.
We love you
We
too.
love you so much.
Love you too, my dear.
Thank you.
The doctor is giving you some medication and things for both of you.
Actually, there's no medication for this, what she's got there. It's like it'll be there at least for 10 days. So we just have to put up with all the symptoms, whatever comes. It's hard because she's only so tiny, she can't really tell what's happening, she can't express where she is.
Yeah.
But it's okay, we are managing. Just managing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. Let me know every day how you're progressing.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, sure, sure. Thank you.
And look who decided to join. Where is she? Prema. Look at this one. It's not too bad here, is it? What to say about this one? just quietly doing seva every day, highlights this, and she's in the chat. Never wants to come up. Amazing beauty in that as well. Just in the silent devotion, the silent seva. And when I was telling her to come, she was feeling that I need her to come for her. I need to clear up something. No, I wanted you to come for me. And many haven't seen who is this one who does these highlights and things. So it's good that they see you also. And we're not doing too badly in terms of the crying and things also. Not that crying is a bad thing. So what was the fear? What was this fear that he's going to ask me to do something or give up something? What was this?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Very good.
Okay. No, I don't know. There's this fear in me that you're going to ask me to do something or to, and that I won't be able to respond to that.
Like what? Like hand over some concept or what something? Like
No, I think it's more like to open up more to what's happening here, like to broadcast or something like that.
like this, like this. Then you must broadcast. Oh,
Yeah. No, and I was really afraid that I was just going to cry because every time I've ever spoken to you, I've always cried. And this is the first time I haven't cried.
This is the first time we hear your non-crying voice.
Yeah, you can hear my voice for the first time. So it's better. That's good. That's good that you asked me. You kept on asking me to come.
I was hoping you'll forget. Why do I have to come? It seems comfortable or no?
Yeah, totally. Totally comfortable. Yeah.
I love you, my dear. I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I have to go now.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. Love.
There's something so beautiful about this, no? That seva can happen without any sense of doership, without any sense of wanting acknowledgement or thanks or gratitude. Just it's happening. And Parvati wanted to come on. You can come, my dear.
Prima is so beautiful, so amazing, so nice to see her. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you because it's. I just want to like speak through something because it's. I feel like when I contemplated it starts going into my mind, and like my mind goes in circles, and then I sort of get nowhere. Um, and it's well, it's got to do with the broadcast yesterday. Thank you for making me broadcast, because I learn a lot from it, you know. So it's actually very good sadhana, because when I'm reading Ramana's words on the live, it feels like they go in deeper than if I was just sitting there reading the book. So it's very beneficial. Thank you. And then there was a piece that he was speaking about that is to do with and he often says it, and he says stay in meditation or be in meditation. Like he constantly refers to a state of meditation, right, throughout the day, or always be in meditation. So I know he doesn't mean sitting for 12 hours, you know. So what I want to speak to you about is my concept of that is that's like the having the attention in awareness, or in being, right? Being in the self, right? That kind of a state, although it's not a state, obviously. And when I start with that, like, oh, okay, you should try and be in meditation all day, then I, from experience, go, okay, well, you know, you are that all day anyway. So the modern Advaita is fighting with the old Advaita, you know, because our modern way of speaking about it is you are already that, there's no practice necessary, you know, you just got to get out the way, blah, blah, right? But for me, there is a difference. There's like this feeling of being in a meditative repose in the self is another word that he used. Particularly yesterday when I was sharing and I was reading that particular part. And I know what that means. I know what that means. And it doesn't mean just be yourself and go about your business all day, you know. And I feel like there's a gap in the teaching, like that we often have this thing in Satsang where it's like, oh no, well, you just live your life and you just have got to realize there's no person, and then, hey presto, everything will be fine. And I feel like that's not, that it falls short somehow. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling on.
It's very, very. So, what I hear when I hear him say this is just I hear him say, "Don't believe your next thought." It's who is it for? I know this. It can be like, oh.
You know, that drives me mad. That one. You know, it's like I know it's not. I don't feel. Because it's not, even if I went through my day not believing any thought, it does not mean that I'm in repose in the self. So to me, those things don't mean the same, and I think you mean that they're the same.
So we can look at it. Huh? So let's see what.
Okay.
So usually we say, okay, 3 perspectives, but for the sake of this conversation, just 2 perspectives is enough, isn't it? One is the absolute perspective, which is awareness, which you know, that none of this matters, no meditation happens.
Yeah. None of it matters, nothing's happening. Yeah, got that one.
That is clear. So then the second perspective is that of being. Second is that from being. And being then has associated itself with all this personal identification. Therefore, the purpose of meditation must be then to rid itself from this personal meditation and just to abide in itself as unassociated being, or to use its own attention to stay in awareness itself. From the being's perspective, this is all that we can say. Either we can be associated with all of these identities, or all these associations can be dropped and we can remain as being itself, or even attention can stay in the awareness, the absolute, isn't it?
Yes, and I feel like that's what he's saying.
So this is what he's saying. So I am saying that for being, the instruction is don't believe your next thought. This chops off all the possible associations, identifications which can come. And then what happens? When we're not believing the next thought, it is only being, or being attention going to awareness. Being and attention going to external is also okay, as long as it's not associating as that.
That that I can hear your interpretation of don't believe your next thought is almost like don't pick up one, don't like what I would call be in being, just be, just this sort of free consciousness, unassociated being, I feel like you mean to say those two things are the same. And when I hear you say, just don't believe your next thought, when you're teaching, like somebody comes and they go, oh, well, I had this thing going on with my husband, and then, and then blah, 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 and then if you say to them, just don't believe your next thought, for me, it feels like you just almost like saying that's enough, and
almost
like you mean the same thing.
But
Did
not,
I interrupt you?
No, I was saying that it's not just that we stop at that. I also say that if something is repetitive, if something really pushes, so if it's a wife identity, or if it's a in-laws, daughter-in-law identity, then we must bring it into an inquiry, you see. So
yeah. So let me pick a more. I want to talk more about general life rather than having a specific issue, right? So like going about your day, and the reason that I'm talking to you about this is because I feel like the highest instruction is for the practice of that abiding, and I feel like that instruction goes further than just saying, like, don't believe your thoughts and don't think that there's a person here, because I feel like if you can tick those two boxes, okay, I'm not believing any thoughts, and okay, I know there's no person here, and you can still go about your day, and there can be all kinds of drama going on, and actually it's still the mess of the world, because it's not like the next step hasn't been taken, which is what Nisargadatta would say, like put your attention on the I am, or like Ramana says, be in meditation all day. I feel like those two things, like what's that teacher? Your head in a tiger's mouth, the one that you went to so much?
Ramesh Baltikar.
Ramesh spent his life telling people you don't exist, and it didn't get them anywhere, And like I feel like that falls short of this, you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So for me, when I say don't believe the next thought, is the preliminary activity. And then he said, no, that this is the first pointing. The second pointing is, can you stop being? You see? Then you see that this presence is here. And then the final question is, are you aware now? No, but why do I stress on don't believe your next thought so much? Because when so much identification is happening with the thought, I find that there is no space for the other two contemplation. We cannot even truly ask ourselves, am I aware now, if we're just going to pick up belief in the next thought. You know? Also, it cannot be that Bhagavan would have said just be in meditation all day, because that would mean that if that means keep your attention only in awareness all day, then why is then consciousness projecting all of this play?
I don't think it's the attention, because I feel like something else happens in the heart that requires no attention. So I feel like you can be in that state of meditation and your attention can be on stuff. Like Muji says, you're in the flu state. Things can, I feel like I know the difference between being in repose in the self, being in meditation, and going about your day. And I know what that means, and I know when I'm not doing that. And so what happens is, and I don't feel like the I'm not doing that is believing thoughts. Okay, because that one, I'm just going about my business. Things are coming and going, and it's busy and it's wah, right? So that one also, there's no suffering, there's no belief in thoughts, there's no ATM machine, there's no buying, but there's a lot of like distraction, and it's not this one, which is what I feel Nisargadatta says, stay in the I am. Bhagavan says, be in repose in the self. I know that one too. And it's not attention. It's not having your attention on it all day. There's something else. It's like it's an awareness of oneness, and then like you move in the oneness, not as an individual. It's like everything. There's a whole different way of being. And I feel like that's the one Muji talks about when he says, like, live like you're in the flu state. It's like eyeballs in space, kind of one. And I really feel like our teaching isn't, because what made me think of it? Yesterday I was talking like that, and then somebody wrote, I forget who it was, they said, oh no, all of this is nonsense because awareness isn't a state. And actually, that falls very far short from the highest teaching. Yes, awareness isn't a state, you are already that, but there certainly is this, I don't know,
But from
I don't know how to
everything
say
that you say, for me it sounds like when I say unassociated being is exactly what you're saying. But I'm open. If you discover something which is different from this unassociated being which I'm speaking of, and you find yes, it's something else which they mean, Maharaj, Bhagwan, Guruji, it's something else which they mean, I'm open to learning.
No, it's not like I want to teach you something else. No, I don't mean that.
No, I know you didn't. I know you didn't mean that. I know completely that you would not mean that, but I'm saying that here there is openness, you see. So what I find what you are saying is just this sense of unassociated being. For me, when I hear repose or I see that this just uncluttered or whatever attributes, I find that this is what it is. And I feel that because it is so simple, this don't believe your next thought, it seems like, oh, but it can't just be this. No, it's a little bit just too trivial almost compared to when we speak of the state of repose or something like this. But when I check it out, when I check like this, I find that here being is just being unassociated unless some belief is going to the next thought. Now, if there's something else which I'm missing about this, I'm very keen to learn this because I don't want to die without knowing this.
It's very subtle what I'm speaking about, and it's very hard for me to put it into words.
Can we differentiate what you are speaking about from this sense of unassociated being? What is one differentiator?
It's like I'm learning how to speak about this, right? it's like there's a sense of space present, right? Yesterday you were speaking a little bit about the forehead goes away, you know, that there is this definite sense of like a feeling of space being present, and for this space to be very extensive, right? And that the functioning of the person and the body is sort of superimposed on top of this, and there is thinking, like, because there's like reaching for a thought of how to say it, right? So there's definitely thinking going on. So there's not like, not believing thoughts or. So what I'm trying to say is this presence of this particular self being present it's like you can live in your day without that being there and not be like suffering and not be believing thoughts, but you can be so busy or so distracted in general stuff, like, with me, it's just being a mother, making sure the sandwiches are made, simple things, that it's very far in the background. It never goes away, that it recedes so far, and that everything on the screen of life is so present. So what I'm trying to say is that I think that Bhagavan means that you need to bring it into the foreground. And the way that is done is, I think, I think you mean don't believe your next thought. But for me, it's not deep enough. That's what I'm trying to say. And also, it brings with it this feeling of unity, because everything has like a sense of hollowness to it, like it doesn't really exist. But as an experience, when you're in this feeling of spaciousness, which is a completely natural feeling. It's not something that you conjure up, Yeah, very hard to say, because you can't at the same time say that it is always here and you don't conjure it up and then say that you have to do it. You see, those two things don't work together. But it's kind of what I'm saying. That's why I want to talk to you about it, because it just goes boom, boom, boom in my head when I try and contemplate it on my own.
It's very good what you said, and I'm correlating with my experience of this unassociated being which we speak of here, and everything was correlating so well with that, except this only one aspect where you said that you can reach for a thought to figure out what to say next. It can seem like this, but for me it reaches more like, okay, waiting for this intuitive voice to see what comes up.
Yeah, waiting for it to come, yeah. As I said it, I felt it. Because as I said it, you can still think, I thought, oh, you're not thinking, the words are just coming.
Yes.
And, yeah. I trying to...
Everything else correlated very well. Everything else correlated very well with what I mean by unassociated being.
So hey, okay, so I want to talk about that because then the same thing I'm talking, but so I'm using different language because I'm saying it's like a state and it's dot, and then if someone goes, no, this is not a state, then I'm like, no, it is a kind of state. So obviously that state is like the wrong word for it, right?
That is two different levels of communication. So what you are talking about, this unassociated being, which ultimately for being is a state. So it's either associated or it's unassociated. You see?
Yeah, exactly.
But if someone comes and says, okay, I'm very Advaita and I know for awareness there is no state, so there's nothing new in that. Most of us are realizing this, that for awareness it is not moving, it is with no state. You see? So then what is to clarify at which level we are speaking. So we know that the absolute perspective, no state, no trouble with that, nobody is arguing with that. Really? And the perspective of being, it is either associated, identified, pretending to be a person, or it is unassociated, just space. You see, just space. It is these associations itself that seem to be the constrictions. You see, so when you say sense of space, I can correlate that very directly. When it is not associated, just this sense of space is here. But for being, it is a different state. You see, it is associated state or unassociated state.
Yeah. You know, I was listening to Adya Shanti the other day. He said that people experience it differently, and actually I can see how that works, because there's it even inside itself. There's different types of experience of it. You know, like sometimes it's space, or you know, sometimes I feel like lead. You know, like I can't move, or just all different weird things, you know, mostly space. But like you were saying, that some people have a complete, like, you know, emptiness, bottomlessness. Some people just call it this, like they can't get past the fact that it's so immovable, you know. So he says that even inside this experience, it is experienced differently by different beings. And actually that's very interesting to me, because I can see how that's causing a lot of in the teachings, a lot of confusion and a lot of like argumentation, because we are like, no, that's not what it is, it's only this and this. And like Lisa Kane, she loves to just go, it's this, it's only this, it's nothing else. And she hates any like love talk, you know, like, you know, for me it's just like pure love, light, space, like, you know. So even inside the experience, which is supposed to be the same thing, everyone experiences it differently. So it's hard to describe it when you're teaching, you know, when you're sharing. So like, so you asked me to share, so now all these things are coming up, like you can't describe it. And even I'm describing what it feels like, it might not be feeling like that to the other person.
It's very beautiful, and that's why it's important that all of you start sharing, because all of this is contemplation. All of this is contemplation.
Yeah.
Contemplating these things together, which is the most beautiful thing. You see, because here also with contemplation, as it is progressed, we have gone, if you remember initially when we started, I would not say don't believe your next thought. I would say let go of your next thought. You remember? It used to be let go of. And then many would come and say, I'm not able to let go. I mean, I was not able to let go. And then I realized that attention is about attention versus belief. And when we were trying to let go, it was about trying to keep attention away from it, you see. So I said, not even attention is important to let go. Can we at least withdraw our belief? So then it contemplates more and more. As we share, then the expression gets clarified more and more. But you know why all these, you talked about Advaita debates are happening? It is because we don't clarify definitions first when we start. So with me, you do this now, that before a conversation starts, I first make sure that we clarify the definitions, otherwise people will just keep arguing about the definition. And then they'll say exactly what I meant. This is exactly what I meant. Only I was using the word God for it, and somebody was using some other word for it. You see, that is when the confusion. Even like this, oh, this is all rubbish because awareness has no states. Yes, yes, who doesn't know this now? Yeah. But we are talking at a different level. We are talking at the level which brought us into Satsang. It is because being got associated and seems to be pretending to suffer. That's why we came into Satsang. You see, why did this person come to the chat? If he has no states, why would he even come to the chat?
Because he doesn't exist.
Non-existent.
That's my worst one. That's just my worst one. You don't exist.
But it's okay.
Because
the absolute level.
You don't exist. It's true. You don't exist. Okay. But like you don't exist as the thing that you've created in your mind. But you are sitting here. You are like making this mouse go like this. The one that's doing that is right back over there, the source of everything. And you can't tell me the source of everything doesn't exist. You know. That's my worst one. You don't exist as a person, And even this person is walking around in the world doing stuff, fetching children from school, making sandwiches, making decisions. Like, I'm wearing this jacket today instead of the other jacket, It's just on that level.
This one we can contemplate on a little bit, because when it comes to the person, then we can use it conversationally. But as opposed to being or as opposed to awareness, the person never has a tangible existence, not even at the level of atom and molecules. You see, we can say the body is here, of course, as atoms and molecules.
Yeah.
So usually,
even a brain that has to have preferences, even a like a physical system, like this physical system prefers coffee in the morning to tea. It's not a person. There's not like a person, but there's definitely a preference or a choice being made. But it's only on that level, like right there at the bottom. Guruji always says if you really had proper choice, you'd be able to do radical things in your life. You'd be able to like change your life, and you can't. So it's it's anyway. Yeah.
it's this level confusion which can create all the
level confusion.
All the debating can happen because of level confusion. One can sit at one level, and then they find, okay, they're running out of moves. They say, okay, now I move to a different level, and they start speaking. Then it becomes all complicated. And here, whenever somebody says, okay, this, I'm completely clear. This is how it is. I say, okay, very good. There's no feeling to win an argument. You see, because what is the because sometimes it can sound like an argument, but I'm still smelling for, is there a sense of openness around it, which is saying, yes, I want to. Then I feel to engage with it. If somebody is saying, convince me, impress me, I'm saying, no, not for me.
I hope you feel that how I was talking to you, because I needed to like talk it out, to think it out,
Of course I did. It's very beautiful, and you must share every day. It was such a beautiful thing, because this body, when I woke up today, I felt like I just don't. So actually, I was still in my bed, and the laptop was next to me, and I opened on Facebook. I saw the sharing, and I heard the full 45 minutes of it, and it was so beautiful. So.
Really, Father? I was just totally like, it's a very good sadhana. It's very good because I learn from it.
I saw Stacy was there. She asked some questions. She actually benefited from the interaction, which is so beautiful for me to see. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you.
Right.
I'm shy to do it,
I'm pushing a little bit. That's why I'm pushing.
Yeah, I can feel you pushing a little bit, and I don't want to resist it too much, because I can feel that the resistance is from a mental judgment of like, all of that stuff, like not being ready, not being good enough, not knowing what you're talking about, English isn't my first language, all of that stuff. And the amazing spiritual teachers in the world, and they have much higher teachings, and who would ever want to listen, and all of that's a lot of judgment. Wow.
Most natural English speaker I've heard. It's just this mind comes with all of this, like you were saying, all of this. Just keep it so flowing, so beautiful.
Okay, I'll try and ignore it.
All of you must share, because I saw just this one interaction you had with Stacy is enough, no?
Yeah.
If it opens somebody, just one concept out, if it blows away, it brings one moment of clarity for someone, then I feel a lifetime of satsang is worth it. Even if the rest, everyone else comes and doesn't accept what you have to say, just that one moment was enough.
I also feel that.
And I'm not coming to satsang and saying, is this right? Is this wrong? Is she speaking correctly? Is she aligned to the teaching? I'm not doing
She's talking nonsense.
that. I just enjoy the presence of all of you sharing. It's so beautiful. I'm not sitting and policing and I feel that this openness, you see, if I've ever become stiff about something, if I ever become stiff about something and forcefully say that no, this is how it is, please come and slap me hard. Hey, this is open. I'm open to learn. Every day I learn something. Even now, every day.
I'm not slapping you. I'm just saying I think that you spent a lot of time with Ramesh, you know, and like that whole like Ramesh thing like is just. I mean, I love, you know, it's good. I love his stuff, you know, but I feel like we have to also we have to tell. No, let me just. There's like there is of course this you know it's easy, it's natural, it's right here, right now, you know. So I don't want to bring this tendency, this spiritual seeker tendency, into this environment, you know, because it's so valuable that we get taught that right now, this very minute, you are realized, and actually it's just obscured, and it's not going to happen in 20 years' time, you know. But I do feel like we speak a lot in satsang, and I don't know if it's unintentional, but you know, for a whole like month and a half, I was never in hangout, and I just listened. There's a lot of talk about, I don't know, you know, just don't pick up a thought and, you know, go about your day. And actually, the suffering returns on that because they can't manage that. It's not just that. It's much deeper than that, you know. So there's more turning inward that needs to happen. You can't just like, you know, think that, oh, if you just kick this thought out, okay, and then you're just going to kick the next one out and just kick the next one out, and you're going to go like this for 20 years. No, sorry.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, but that's why I'm saying that without this, you see, as long as we're still identifying with the content of our thought, then the turning inward is not possible. The possibility of asking, am I aware now, is completely distracted by these identifications that we have. So it's not to believe, don't believe your next thought. It's also, can you stop being? Are you aware now? Are you open?
Yeah, but you know what happens in satsang? You don't get there. So you spend a lot of time, you spend hours just dealing with, don't pick up that thought, who is it saying that? So what happens is, in a week of like, you know, 3 times 5, 15 hours of satsang, you're doing that for 12 hours. So what happens is, it becomes like that is the only teaching. And then, if someone like me listens a lot, and I go, no, come now. We need deeper than this. We need to like chop a deeper path in the forest than just this. And I know that it's a function of who is appearing in front of you, but I have to raise it. I have to say, oi, like, you know, I have to be that trouble causer sometimes.
I like to see also like this. I like to see that few recordings like this, and we see if it's only just don't believe next thought, or is it because something is not resonating with that aspect, so that sticks more? Is it like this, or?
You mean that I'm noticing it more because that's the one that irritates me?
Just quantitatively we can check. So maybe we can look at a recording maybe from last week. Is it last week or the week before that? Let's look at a recording and feel, because that's not the feeling which is here, that I'm just saying don't believe your next thought, don't believe your next thought. In fact, I would hate that. If it was just don't believe your next thought, don't believe your next thought, I would hate that. So let's look at.
It's either that one. No, it's not just that one. It's either that one or the one is who's talking doesn't exist. It's one of those two. You go between those two a lot. Like, you know, I know I'm going to get 10,000 messages from people on chat saying, "Don't attack him. That's not true." I'm not saying that that's the only thing you teach. I'm not saying that. You know, I don't want anyone to misunderstand. I'm being super clear and super honest, and I'm saying in a month I just listened and I heard that a lot. And then I read Bhagavan and I read Nisargadatta, and I'm like, yeah, but what about this? What about this? You know, and I have a critical mind. I totally agree. You know, and it is those two are sticky for me. So it might be, you know, how you sort of create your own reality. You know, if we did a statistical analysis, it might be 50-50.
I want to also. If everyone feels this, you must tell me. See, it's very important. We must.
They don't feel it. I'm the only one who's saying this stuff. I know that because I can see them on the chat. I was out of the satsang for a long time, and I read the chat, and I can see they're all like, "Ah, beautiful teaching, blah blah," and I'm like,
Can you also answer?
I love you. Listen, I just want to say, I love you, and I'm saying this in the most like respectful spirit. I think you're an amazing teacher. You know that, right?
You do know that, and I know you love me. You're my own daughter. You're my own heart. Nothing. So if there would be that just me saying, "Oh, I'm open," and then when somebody is openly saying that this is what I feel, then if I would say, "Oh, she's attacking me," then what would happen to this openness? Service, openness. I don't see any. I want to know if it's like this because, like I said yesterday, I don't remember what gets shared. And even if we find that it's like this, I don't know whether I can change that. You see? But
no, I was thinking about that. You know, I was thinking like, can it change? Like, I was actually contemplating that. Like, can it ever change? Like, can you ever like say something and it changes? Of course not, right? So, and also it's a function of your background. It's where you've found meaning and all the contemplations you've done, and it's 10,000 moments that have led up to this very specific one right now, which is so beautiful. And in my contemplation of that, of can it change, it's like also, I don't know that it needs to, because the whole Sangha is being built up around you so beautifully. And that the things that come with that is like yesterday, the amount of love that was present in Satsang yesterday is just beyond. I mean, there was just like nothing in the universe for me at the end of Satsang yesterday. And so that makes up for any irritation I have with don't believe your next thought.
This reminds me a little bit of what Jaya told me. After 6 months of sitting here in front of me, she was here 6 months. She was here, and those days, especially, because this expression it started more in those days. So every day, at least once, she would hear, and then at the end of it, one day we were just talking after satsang, and she said like this, like this, like this. So I told her it's very, very simple. Just don't believe your next thought. And she said, Ananta, this one, just it doesn't work for me. I said, after 6 months you tell me. It was very beautiful also. And I told Guruji also this when I met him in Rishikesh after that she was there and 6 months. And she just heard her, no, not this one. What else you got? Yes. Yeah.
So
You can come closer, otherwise she can't hear you at all. Maybe come.
like lots of the teachings, like Guruji used to say, I am. To say, don't believe the next one, don't believe the next one. But for me, it was never, like, sometimes I never heard it, like, it wouldn't, like, sink in. But it was only the presence. It wasn't so much now I know when you say that don't believe your next thought, it's naturally you're not believing. And if I do believe, then obviously there's an identity in it. And then I look at it, and then you kind of look at it, and then the thought goes away, or belief goes away. But so it was never about the teaching, it was always about the presence. About Guruji or Ramana or yourself. So I mean, there have been times like otherwise also like I don't understand a lot of things that's it, but it's there and something works and understanding happens. Sometime later, then I understand what I am. In case it.
What happens also here is that, because I've been through all of this, like she was saying, Ramesh and Maharaj and Art of Living and all of that, all this. So obviously some form of expression can be reliant on that. But also for me, when I share like this, no, don't believe the next thought, I feel I wish somebody had told me that. Because I would also hear things like you have to repose in it, abide in it, stay as I am, and never able to do it. I used to keep hearing it and never able to do it. So I wish somebody had just told me, just don't believe your next thought. And naturally,
But do you feel like that is the same?
yes,
Just drop your thoughts is the same as stay in the self.
yes,
I don't feel that, you see. I feel like unless someone knows what stay as the self means, if you just say to them, before they know what stay as the self means, or stay as unassociated being, right? Before they know that, like if I just switched on this video and you said, just don't believe your next thought, they would not know what staying as the self means. You need to know what the self is, and actually they would just think that it's their normal being, their normal way of going about life without attaching to thinking. And that's a different thing. That really is a different thing. I'm sorry if I'm hammering on a particular point, but it's like, you're dealing with people in your satsang who know what you mean when you say that. Just be with unassociated being, or stay as the self. Like Guruji often will say, do you know what stay as the self means? Everyone goes, yes, yes, yes. Then he knows, okay, he can carry on with what he's teaching. But you're going to have to come on the internet and watch these videos, and then you say, just don't believe your next thought. And then we all know what kind of, because if we've had some kind of being in satsang for a while, we have a feeling of what's staying as the self or be as unassociated be. But it's not just for a stranger, just drop your thinking. That's not.
So like this, let's contemplate this together. So this, we said, no, that all this identification is what we call suffering, resistance, ego. All of this is basically just this identification. So when this identification is not there, and the sense of separation, sense of ego is not there, and it cannot be that without belief in thought, this sense of ego or separation or resistance is there. You see? So the simplest way is to just drop your belief in the next thought. And then what is here? So I don't just leave it at that. I don't just leave it at that. But usually what happens is that, again, we still report from thought, so I have to say, drop, and then we look together. And when we look together, we say, can you stop being? Can you stop being? So when the disidentification with the misidentification happen, that means that the ego identification is dropped away, then it's so simple to just check. Being is here. That one that is aware even of being is here. Because already it is all there is. It was just an idea, this separation. You see, so when the ego sense is dropped, what is there except the self?
Yeah.
You can contemplate like this. I don't want to. This is not. I don't want to give you like a final answer. Together we can look and see.
If so what you're sorry, I got a bit lost in your words. So the sense of identification drops. Yeah. But there can still be like thinking without the sense of identification. So I got a bit lost there.
There can be the flow of thoughts. There can be the flow of. But to believe a thought is identification. And when this misidentification is not there, what else is there but the self itself?
So, so what you're saying is just just non-identification is being in the self.
Just not identifying as that one which is imagined. Non-identification means identification with the ego, yes? As long as we're not identified as the ego, it is the self. If it takes for us to become the self, besides just dropping of this belief in the separation, then what would it be? Who is this one that has to do this work? You see, this one, and this can also seem like, oh, this is becoming too Advaita, but then sincerely I'm asking, once you're not.
No, I love it. I love it because it's finer point, right? So, yes, I keep thinking, because it's coming up this week, because I'm looking at it like if I'm hearing this for the first time in my life, you know, and I was just a normal person going about my day.
Sorry, yes, you can go on. Go on. This is happening now.
Okay, I've lost you now.
You don't hear me now?
Yeah, no. So if I had to say this to my sister, right? She's never in her life heard a word of Advaita. Okay, she's not interested. So if I had to say this to her, just don't believe your next thought. She would be able to do it. But there would not be this staying as the self, because there's a difference between repose in the self and just there not being identification. Because there can be streams of thought, and there can be like a lot of activity, and yes, of course, are you going to go? You're going to go straight away to yes, but you are always the self, you know.
But from the point of being, when there is no identification, then what is the difference between that and reposing as the self? That is what I don't see. You see.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly where we are. Let me just try and think of how to say it. Because there can be this not being aware of the space. I don't know how to say it any better than that. It could be just going from activity to activity. And I feel like you can be like, I don't know, almost like in theory, like a robot of just going, doing blah, 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 blah. And there not being any like real identification, and you're still not being in the self. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird.
I have not seen this, because this I have not seen. You see, the trouble only comes when there is this identification. So when we identify as the personal doer, as the personal one who is doing the activity, all of this are attributes which are called the identification. And all of these rely on thought. So when you see that belief is not going to the next one, in that moment...
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's like a little bit when Priya speaks and she's here, you know, so Hello, my sweetheart. You know when Priya speaks, when she goes, yeah, but it's just this. It's just, it's just this, and it's just this, and like, and actually, it's not just this.
Yes, but when
It's so much more than just this. Like, I just want to say, no, it's not just this. It's like this. Like, So I know she means it, like, because there's just normal state, normal natural state is not the self.
so I want to say that as you keep sharing, also you'll have a stronger nose for where one is speaking from. So when she says it's just this,
Yes, which she said, I know, of course. That's why I'm waving at her and saying, I know she means, I know her. I mean, I know she means like this, like, but
perspective, when she
so
says,
my nose for her is like, she knows what she means. But there's an ordinariness to not thinking. And you know why I'm telling you this? Because I meditated for a long, very, very long time. And sometimes I can meditate, I could go on retreat and sit for 8 hours a day and have almost not a single thought. And I had a very, very quiet mind, right? Very quiet, dead quiet, and very peaceful. But I never knew what the self was. So I really feel like that would be kind of the result. Like you're talking about something that, I mean, of course, I was always the self, you know what I mean. But I was just kind of in this like peaceful, like quiet state, like this sort of very empty, really, some people would give a lot of money for that, to have that actual state. But it never was the self. I never knew until Muji started talking on my computer screen one day. I was like, oh my God, where have you been? And I'd heard thousands of teachers, like thousands, read Ramana, never actually knew. So it feels to me like that. Like if you just say, just don't believe your next thought and just have this quiet mind and like all the thoughts go, then you're talking about that type of level of thing, which is this quietness. But there's something completely different between that and repose in the self. There definitely is. I've got to say it.
yes. Actually, I'm getting an important call. Let me pause mute for just 1 minute. I have to take.
I'm sorry for everyone if it's like boring discussion. And Priya, I know what you mean when you say it's just this. I know what you mean. What beautiful. Hello, how are you? I'm in the middle of a conference call on video. Can't talk to you right now.
Okay, so okay. I just want to say something and to see if this is what you mean, Parvati. Because when you're speaking, I think this is what maybe she means, but maybe she didn't. That like maybe she's thinking like repose of the self is, you know, if you're like just meditating and everything is just quiet and peaceful, but like in your day, then there's like energy moving, and maybe there's just energy doing all
So is she
things.
saying that that is reposing, or is she saying that this is reposing?
I have the idea, so she can correct me if she's wrong, if it's wrong. But like that, like so she has an idea that reposing of the self means that this energy shouldn't be there. You know, like
Because
so the
what she was saying is that it's not even that meditation where it's just quiet. It's not this.
so not like this, Parvati.
No, no, I feel
One
like
thing I wanted to also say
reposing
that she
in
was saying that it makes it sound so ordinary. For me, that actually is the feature, not the bug. Huh? Because for me, I was so tired of hearing these extraordinary things. Stay in the sense I am, and I would try and try, stay in the sense I am. It doesn't happen for more than a few hours. You get frustrated because Maharaj said all the time, stay in the sense I am. I've not met one who did it. You see? So for me, it has always been regular. Can we make it regular? Can we make it ordinary? Because it must be, you see. So I know that it can seem like, okay, because it sounds so ordinary, is he really talking about the highest truth which everybody else is saying? And I might not be, so I'm open to hearing something higher, you see. So like this, but when I hear that what you just said and I am saying is the same, that it's not you go into a cave and meditate for 8 hours and still it is not the self. It is true. So the only thing is that the simplicity of it, that the only trouble, the only seeming impediment is this identification as the ego. And when dropping this identification is the simplest thing, the mind makes it out to be something big. The simplest, most ordinary thing is to not believe our next thought. And what is just the self. And what is just the self, is it not reposing? Then what is it if it's not reposing as a self? Then I'm not pretending to be this person. Then what is it when except reposing as the self itself? And we don't leave it there also. We then say, okay, can you stop being? To check whether it's not just a mental idea of dropping thought. We also check and say, can you stop being? And who's aware even of this? But truly I feel just this dropping of belief in the next thought is unassociated being, is the same thing. I feel that maybe because it is so ordinary, maybe then that's why it feels like, okay, it's not really getting us where everyone else seems to be pointing. But I don't see the
no,
difference. So you must point out
I feel like
that this is
that
what doesn't
ordinary
happen.
feeling.
When you say don't believe your next thought, this is what doesn't happen and is meant to happen.
I feel like what I'm trying to
I don't
say
hear you now.
is that
Oh, because, okay, sorry.
oh,
Yes, now?
I feel like that ordinary feeling of if you were just not thinking, and that ordinariness is not it's not staying as the self, and I can hear that you feel that, and I feel there's a difference, and it's very hard for me to describe what I'm talking about. And it's not an idea that I have. It is an experience that I have. And it is an experience that I can sometimes have right in the middle of serious activity. Like I don't have quiet days. My days are all very busy. And I can have the experience of the self in that day with crazy shit going on. So it's not what Amber thinks, like it's not that like all meditative state. It's like full on, right? Full on major. Experiencing it as the self, or like just ordinary. And I really, there's definitely a difference. And when I say ordinary, I don't mean a person, like with identity. There's like an ordinariness of just going from one thing to the next, right? And the self is still in the ordinariness. It's not there. There is something different to staying as the self. That's what I'm trying to explain. And I can hear that you are saying this ordinariness is still the self, if there's no identification.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
This is great exploration, and I want to take this forward with you.
It really, yeah, I know, we're taking a lot of time. Sorry.
Great exploration. So we must continue this. I know that there might be some who are saying, but no thing like this, something. But I feel this is great exploration.
Hmm.
You see? So let's keep it simple like this. Exactly what you just defined. I am saying that when we are not identified in this way, when we are not giving belief to a concept, it is reposing as a self. You say it is not that, and you have tasted this, which is reposing in the self, but is not this. So this is what we'll get more clarity on and work together on.
And this is remember the other day when you were saying, you were talking on the chat, and you were saying, oh, just be open and just accept. And I was saying to you, it is the one thing that I just cannot accept. And it is because I know my teacher, my beautiful Bhagavan, says, and people speak about him, that he was able to, and I feel like I know what it is. And my frustration with myself, and it's not frustration, it's just like, the feeling that I'm not there yet, is because this staying as the self is not 100% in my day and even in my sleep like it's supposed to,
So this is good.
And trust me, before everyone, they can all send me these messages because they love to send me messages, right? Like, I understand I'm always the self, I'm not talking about, when I say that the ordinariness comes, the self is still there. It's not, I don't have in and out. I have reposing in the self and not. The self is always there, but it's like, it's like a swing. It's like a sliding scale, like Guruji says, and the scale is just, it doesn't always go right back. And I feel like we do a disservice to people when we don't teach them what that is. When we just say to them, oh no, it's just a natural state. I've noticed that. I've noticed, like, particularly someone lately who's been asking me stuff. And then if I just speak like that, it's not enough. Yeah, it's just not, it's not teaching them what being in the self is.
It's never about the standard teaching. Never about some standard way of teaching, and just to say this will be enough. Something just responds the way it is responding. So like this, I think that the point is this, that for me, all that is happening is being associated or unassociated. Awareness remains untouched. Being is either associated, unassociated. Person doesn't exist. So the trouble can come either in this. So when I say person doesn't exist, it means when being is associated, there's a seeming person. When being is unassociated, there's no seeming person. This is all I mean when I say that. So for me, it is just this. The unassociated being is reposing as the self. Now you have to look inside and say, no, it is not just this. It is also, by the way, this. Also this, which you're missing. You have to clarify and look more and more and clarify this, and say that this is also this. And I could say something like, this is what I meant, or I could say, oh, I never saw it like that. Never saw it like that, and thank you so much. Like this.
But yeah, we were speaking about it earlier because I was trying to describe it to you as a feeling of space,
Yes.
right? And you said to me that that's kind of your unassociated when you define it, you like this. I'm speaking about an actual experience, like a physical experience, like actually feeling. I'm not talking about some mental idea. And I'm saying that there's an actual feeling to repose in the self. There isn't, it's not just like when there's no association of a person. There's an actual feeling.
So when attention then goes to this awareness itself, then it seems like everything is just this spaciousness. So now we come out from even being, and we're talking about awareness being aware of itself. Are you aware now? And we ask this, am I aware now? So all there is this spaciousness. So we're not even talking about spaciousness of being. As Guruji says, no? Spaciousness of being is being empty of all identifications. That is spaciousness of being. But spaciousness, as you just defined it, seems like you even got out of this being, and it is this question, am I aware now? Is awareness just being aware of awareness? And all there is this space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talking about this awareness itself, not even in the realm of being. There it doesn't even matter whether being is associated or unassociated.
Yeah.
Just keeping attention on
That
awareness.
one. That one.
Attention on
Yes.
awareness itself. This is what you mean.
Yes. Yes. Which can be all day. It doesn't just have to be in the contemplation of am I aware now.
Yeah. Then,
That can be carried through an entire day.
so when being
So
is unassociated, then very naturally it chooses to rest on either being itself or in awareness itself. Very naturally it chooses this resting of attention. There is nobody who can decide to do it like this or like that. All of this is being choosing to rest in attention, to rest in awareness or in being itself. You see? And that is why
if you
Bhagavan said that the only choice you have is whether to go with the content of your thought or not. And make the choice of not going with the content of your thought, and the rest will all reveal itself.
if you're sitting there, if you're in that room, sitting there, if you're running around in the day, like in our modern life, and you're on the phone and you're doing messages and you're doing chat and I'm saying to my assistant, please don't remember to speak to that person, and like Mia runs in, then for me that's not associated being. That's not association.
Exactly.
But it's not resting in the self.
But you already said that it is not just being able to meditate for many hours a day.
No, resting in the self is having the tension, the feeling of the self. It's like.
But then my question would be that if all that awareness wanted was just for attention to be in awareness itself, why would it even project this phenomenal world?
No, because I can go through my phenomenal day with my attention there some days and some days not. So I know the possibility is there for the projected world to be here and for me to interact in it in complete awareness all day long, right? It's not, the two are not mutually exclusive. So the question doesn't work. It's like, I'm not saying that, if what I'm saying is true, then there's no point of the world being here.
Yes. So therefore, then
It's that your experience of the world can be either in this in a and yeah. Anyway, we're just going in circles.
then
We're repeating.
it's about attention versus belief, isn't it? Ultimately, then if this is what you're saying, then it is only about attention.
No, you see, you keep saying that, but it's not because okay, so right. So it's not an either or choice, okay? So if you don't have to be believing your thoughts for you to not be being in the self. So that's what you're saying. You're saying it's either or, right? Attention versus belief. So and what I'm trying to say to you is it's not.
When you believe a thought, then
I can go through my whole day without believing any thoughts and not be in the self.
that is reposing in the self. Tell me the difference.
No, that's not. That's not. I know the difference. I know the difference. I can go through my whole day. I promise you, I go through days and days where like there's no association with the person. There's just doing what is in front of me, literally what is in front of me, minute to minute, second by second. Sometimes I can't even remember who I spoke to on the phone 3 minutes ago. There's no holding on to anything, and yet it's not repose in the self. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you right now, if you tell me that's the same, I'm going to fight with you today.
What I was going to say is, then the only difference we must be speaking of is where attention is going, isn't it?
No, because I have a feeling of being in the self and my attention is on you and speaking with you. My attention is on our conversation, but I'm in the self.
This is what I mean.
But my attention is on other stuff.
It's a good thing that we are in separate continents, otherwise you might want to hit me or something. But this is exactly what I mean by unassociated being.
Well, okay. I'll just believe you that that's what you mean.
No. You don't have to close it like that.
No, I know that that's what you mean. That's what I keep saying to you. I know that that's what you mean.
Yeah.
But when you tell people, oh, just don't believe in your thought, I don't know that they necessarily know what the feeling of being an unassociated being feels like. I don't know. And I, for years, had a lot of non-thinking, and I know a lot of Buddhists who have almost no thinking, and they don't know what being in the self is. So if you say that that's the same thing, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, because what is happening is that they are practicing not thinking, which means that they are saying that no thought. No thought.
Yeah.
But this is not what they are saying. They're saying be open to all thoughts coming and going. But who are you in this openness? What do you see yourself to be?
No, but I keep thinking about myself, like 10 years ago, when I had no repression and long periods of very quiet mind, and still no self, no idea. I keep thinking about that poor person getting to that point of practice. How many decades?
There was the mind.
And I'm like.
But the later questions didn't come. The question of who you are when there is no belief in thought, this question was not asked, isn't it? That's what you're saying.
No. Yeah. There was just quietness. There was just beautiful quietness. There's nothing wrong with that silence and that quietness, And of course, long periods of being in the self without actually knowing what the hell is going on. Just thinking that it's the results of meditation, but no actual sort of. So yeah, we started the conversation speaking about teaching and how to bring it across. So that's kind of where I'm in the very fine detail of this. I know that. I think we're boring everybody to death.
It's okay. That's rare. So it's fine. So the basic difference is that for me, repose in the self is the most frustrating teaching. I can say like this. Because it doesn't tell
Yeah.
me what to do. It's the most frustrating teaching. How do I repose in the self? What does it mean? How do I abide? The abide is most frustrating. Just be as the I am. How? So because here in these experiences, I've had this sense of frustration with the way those teachings were. Therefore, I feel that now what I'm offering seems to make it so simple to follow. And I don't see the difference in the end point.
Mm.
But yes, of course, it sounds better when we say repose in the self. Sounds, of course, much better than saying don't believe your next thought. Sounds better. But for me, that is more troubling, more irritating, more frustrating. For me, this is something I can chew on. You see, it's more digestible. And I don't see the difference if the pointing is pointing to repose in the self. With Bhagavan's presence, I'm sure he would just have to say repose in the self and his presence would do everything, you see. Now,
Yeah.
when we read it in the book, it leaves us nowhere. Almost we have to say like this.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, that's what I mean when I say when you teach new people, they have to know what that is, you know. They have to know what that is before you can actually tell them that, you know.
my frustration came from there. When I was new, then I would hear just be the self. Just stay with I am, repose, abide. And I would say I have no idea what they're saying. You see that?
And now what you're saying is don't believe your next thought, it automatically makes you repose in the self. Hey man, we are just going to go in circles. I don't agree with that, but yeah.
So we have to then define, maybe not right now, but we have to be able to define
Not
the.
right now.
We have to be able
I've
to.
got to go away and actually think of how to explain to you what I mean, you know. I'm not sure that it's coming across.
Yeah. So just this repose in the self. My definition is what you know when you drop this identification as reposing in the self, you have to say this is what I mean actually, and you're not seeing it that way. And I'm open to hearing that. I'm looking forward to that. Because it's a beautiful contemplation to both of us. I'm not that enlightened that I can't contemplate, you see, or I don't need to contemplate. I'm very happy to contemplate.
I'm too stupid to contemplate. My
No,
brain just
no, you are
like
not.
actually.
It's already very beautiful contemplation. Because even if people are feeling bored or something, it's helping them this conversation. That's why they're still here. Whoever is still here,
Well, Tanya doesn't understand much English.
no, no, she understands very well. She can't speak. She understands very well. And also, there's very much great beauty in this. You see, because all of you must be able to come up like this and come and say, this is what I feel. When you say this, it bothers me because this is not what I see. This is what I'm imploring you to do every day. You come up and say, I see it differently. This is the most beautiful conversation. This is what I want to hear. Where is it that you see it differently? But now we'll not drop it just here. You have to tell me what you see as reposing as the self, because I'm very, very inclined to find this out.
I'll stop now because it's a long time.
But you can
I'll
write
go
to
and think about it.
me, you can FaceTime me, you can. I want to hear. And
Can I
Lord,
say a question?
yeah, sure.
Sorry,
Yeah.
And
You have a question for Parvati?
yeah,
Okay.
like if he's not identified, if he's not reposing with himself, then what?
I don't know whether you heard the question.
Can't hear so good.
Okay.
No, I can't hear. Something about not identified.
Yes, if you're not identified and you're not reposed as the self, then what is the feeling? What are you then?
Yeah, so there's I can hear that it's there. There's like an ordinariness of being. right? So there's just this ordinary being that is also the self. So it's very difficult for me to say that's not the self, because of course you know that at the ordinary level of being, every single person, being, has the self present. Okay, so I'm not going to say that it's not the self, but there is a kind of an ordinariness of being that is not specifically associated and is it's in the world and experiencing in the world, and it's not specifically believing it's a person. And you can get that ordinariness to such a peaceful point, such an absolutely peaceful, dead still point, that you think it's the self. And I'm telling you now, it is just this feeling, this ordinariness of being. And it feels to me like there's a step back into staying as the self, being the self. There's a in being the self, there is this expansiveness, there's this feeling of space present, there's just absolutely no boundary, there's just oneness with everything. There is definitely like, and that's what I mean. I feel like there's a, and I know that you said to me, okay, that's just the attention and awareness.
Yeah.
But there's almost like you can pull it even further back and even observe. It goes very deep. I feel like you can be what Guruji says when you're not even a bird, you know. So I'm just, you can even be one forward and not, and you still more, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not speaking it very well. I'm still learning to find the words, you know. But it's not just that the attention is on awareness, because the attention, putting the attention on awareness brings it straight away, like straight away. But it does come with this sort of deeper feeling of spaciousness. Things are different. It's not just that ordinariness of living. That's what I'm trying to, I don't know how to quite explain. Everything looks different. It's like almost like you can see through things, you know. And that is very much a completely different state to unassociated not thinking, you know.
What you share was this ordinary day-to-day life that we're talking about. So I think I might have had that when I was working.
Yeah.
So that was maybe an immature thing, but it worked out. But practical things in my life that I changed, go back. So that I don't know if it came from a thought of a feeling, but if something outside was not feeling right, something needs to maybe change. I don't know. So
yes, but it's a movement that happens.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Yeah.
It's not so much from thought. It's more. I don't know. At that time, I don't know what I was doing. But the ordinariness.
So I feel where the two open discussion points are this one, that my sense of reposing in the self is this unassociated being, and Parvati feels is different. And then what I offered was maybe what she's saying is that this attention going back into awareness at the root itself, in this sense of only pure space, where even presence is not. This Turiya state, the fourth state, where even the presence is not, but awareness is. This could be there. But she's saying even this it is not. So she has to now contemplate and see how to express that.
How to explain, yeah.
A day or so, contemplate, say what it is then.
And you know, what we're doing is trying to crystallize words like what is the self? You know, what is this? What is the feeling of being in the self? And you know, it's like even Devika just wrote something about ordinariness is the self. It's true. Everything is the self. you know. Even the complete outward, like sort of running around, being completely identified is the self, you know. So no, we're speaking about like some very subtle point of where you're bringing yourself to, where you're living from, you know. And I know that you say to me, oh, but that's just that's putting the attention in awareness, but you can actually be in the self and the attention can fly around. Like what Guruji makes you do that exercise where you go, and then he says, and you are there the whole time. You know, he uses it as an example that you can go through your life with a lot of attention flying everywhere, doing this, that, blah, 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 and you are still the self.
That is my point.
And people think that it's theory. It's like that theory thing, you know. Yeah, but you the self. No, it's experiencing life differently to if no one had told you. It's a completely different way of living. Because otherwise, why would you tell anyone to be the self? If they weren't suffering, then they wouldn't need to be the self, because then they would just be living this fine life, you know.
Yeah, that is so exactly. We are again going in circles. So that is the whole reason why we need to move towards the unassociated being, because it is this association itself which is the cause of seeming suffering. But let's
You
work.
know, I wasn't suffering. I wasn't suffering. And I knew something was missing. I wasn't suffering. I actually had a beautiful life. And I knew something was missing. I kept looking, you know. I didn't know. I would read Bhagavan and I wouldn't know what he's talking about.
This longing. So we said often, isn't it, that either it is because of suffering or there's a deep longing for something which we feel that we are drawn to.
Mm. So much talking.
That's not,
I never do so much talking in a day.
my alarm clock here is freaking out now. She's like, it's 8
Please
p.m.
apologize. Please apologize. I'm sorry, Father.
Very good. I look forward to these contemplations. So this has been what is most natural for me, to contemplate everything new that comes, to contemplate what is it, what could be there. Because if this openness to contemplation would not be here, I would still be, okay, I shouldn't say, but I would still be parroting somebody's words. If this openness to contemplation was not there. So I'm very happy
That's
that
what I love about you.
this, just to check, could it be? Because I've been wrong so often in my life. I've been made completely open. You see?
So,
Okay, should we have the invocations now, since you're here?
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Prave Namah. Jnanamulam Guru Murti, Pujamulam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Mokshamulam Murtiji Kripa Mokshamalam Anantaji Kripa Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhiah Sarve Santu Niramya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makaschit Upapave Sattvam Satkamya Tamasoma Jyotirmya Mrichoma Amritam Gamya Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Brahma Paramastu Om Shri Satguru Bhagavan Ki Jai Om Shri Satguru Murti Ji Ki Jai.
There was a long time in my life where I would have these questions, and I would go to teachers, and they would say, "Just do your kriya, just chant Om Namah Shivaya." They would just say this. Have you been doing your kriya for the last 90 days? Like this. I would have these questions, and they would say, "You just sit and chant, or just pray to Guruji." So till before I met Mujiji, it was always like this. I didn't know where to go with my questions. So for me, this feeling that you must be open to contemplating together. We must not give you an answer saying, no, no, just. You must never take on one pedestal and say, I know and you don't know, but you will get there. Never take on this. Always open to looking. This is very close to me. Thank you also very much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Sri Mujiji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Sri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.